What do you say to people who are in those situations that are struggling to choose happiness because it just feels like there's so much chaos in their life?
Well, first of all, I acknowledge the chaos. And I think it's important that we don't give some false perception that when life is hard, that we can't acknowledge that it is hard. I have been there. Like, I remember when I got out of depression, I had a suicide attempt, and then I became a father of two quickly of, my kids were 10 and 7, and I did not know how to parent. I didn't have no money. I was choosing whether I gave my kids gave my kids lunch money or putting gas in my car, and things were difficult. The relationship that I was in was bad. It was unhealthy. And so I understand all of that list you just said. And back then I didn't choose happiness because, of course, like you just expressed, you don't know how. When there is darkness around you, it is very difficult to see it. And I acknowledge that. And so I don't want somebody to feel alone and being like, well, maybe because you'll end up getting into a cycle of being harder on yourself. And you start beating yourself up because the world is beating you up. And in that moment, what I did is realize I get to say that this is the world. This is the world that the circumstances I was born into or situations that I found myself in because of choices I didn't know. The first way I used to choose happiness is I used to say something. There was a song, and I wish I could remember the artist's name. She'd say, "I'm a young soul, I came to this strange." You know that song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the lyrics, but I know.
Yeah, I don't remember who that was. But I used to give myself some grace, and I would say, "You're a young soul. You don't know. You didn't know." And that one statement that came from that song gave me just a bit to see that I could choose happiness because of the fact that I realized I didn't know this all. So now I'm a young soul. I didn't know it. So, okay. So these things are happening. What can I learn from each of them? And when I say, what can I learn from each of them, was my next step of saying, learning is me choosing happiness in this moment. So I think we have to understand how to define happiness in our darkest moments or redefine happiness so that way you can then feel better.